everybody? It's Luther Wilson III on Monday, September 2nd, 2024. I hope you're doing well. As a lot of you know, I'm a real estate broker and a real estate investor here in the Kansas City market and represent for Upside Property Services. All right, so in today's video, I want to talk about seller financing, installment agreements, and lease options. Okay, so my background, of course, is real estate sales. I did property management for about 6 years, and I've been investing on and off since 2008. And over the last 16 years, I've helped a number of investors through the process from A to Z in one way or another, okay? And my experiences all along the way have helped me to not only have a better understanding of real estate investing, the funding and so forth, but it's also given me a leg up, or given me, a really good opportunity as I've grown my real estate investing business in my portfolio to move a little bit more efficiently, okay? And so things are different now. The market has shifted quite a bit, and investors have had to switch gears, and real estate professionals, of course, realtors and lenders, have had to pivot pretty hard, okay? And so, one of my main goals is to help my clients, help my partners, help my clients. Most everything I've been focused on is long-term, buy and hold, cash flow investments, and seller financing has been the number one way to make that happen, okay? And I want to emphasize offering seller financing to buyers, to residents that we place into homes has been the way to go. A lot of investors, of course, are out there looking for deals. They're trying to, do things on a shoestring budget or perhaps no budget at all. And we sometimes get obsessed with not only just finding deals, but finding creative ways, i.e. seller financing, existing financing, wraps, that sort of thing, to be able to acquire properties. But where we've seen the best action, the best results, where we've been able to make the biggest impact is by offering seller financing, single family homes to families who want to live in these homes for years and years, perhaps decades on end. And so that's what I have been all about, figuring out the operations, okay? Okay, so figuring out the deal flow, acquisitions, figuring out the operations, okay? The property management, the construction, okay? And then on the back end, like growing a portfolio, okay? Like a lot of us can get into deals, a lot of investors can do short-term transactions, flipping of some type, but I think most of us want to have a portfolio that produces cash flow each month, each quarter. And so my experience as an agent, as a wholesaler in the past, as a property manager, as a project manager, and even the last couple years as a loan broker, I've been able to see how investors move and operate and utilize and work in those spaces. And it's allowed me to take those experiences, what I've learned from mentors, what I've learned along the way as an investor, an operator, and putting that into an investment strategy or method or model that we can then source the capital, place it more safely and securely, and then get to the cash flow from there somehow, all right? And that somehow, that way, for me, one way to do it is seller financing, all right? So over the last 2 to 3 years, me and my colleagues have been doing a lot more seller finance transactions in and around the Kansas City market. It's been mostly B-class and C-class single-family homes where we've done that, okay? I've been a part of quite a few of them. Most of the ones that I've been a part of have been contract for deed, which is one way to do seller financing, which is one way to do an installment agreement, okay? A handful of them have been true seller finance transactions where the seller, my client, or whoever it is, the property owner, in that case would deed the property over to the buyer, okay? And then at that point, it would be a wrap, because more often than not, there's gonna be underlying debt. There's gonna be a first lien position mortgage in place. And so if you deed the property over to the buyer, you're gonna have to set up your agreements, okay? Depending on what state you're in, Kansas or Missouri. Most of the time it's been some type of installment agreement, okay? And just be mindful, okay? As you're doing more and more of these, you gotta be mindful of the tax implications. You gotta be mindful of the 3Ds. If you didn't see one of my recent videos, it was the 3 scary Ds of seller financing: Dodd-Frank, due on sale, and default situations, okay? So if you're an investor, if you're a property owner, or even if you're a realtor or maybe a lender or someone that does real estate, and you are doing seller finance transactions, you gotta be mindful of those 3Ds, the tax implications, how you're structuring and handling these types of transactions, okay? So most of mine, again, have been contract for deed. I've done almost 40 of them over the last 2 years, all right? Actually, I take that back. Almost 40 of them over the last 5 years, okay? It started to pick up a lot the last 2 years, okay? And most of those have been contract for deed, all right? That is one way of doing an installment sale, okay? You got existing financing, which the mortgage company had put together the mortgage for you know, the previous owner. If you're buying it subject to the existing financing, that's an installment agreement, okay? Contract for deed, that's an installment agreement. If you're doing a wrap and you're putting together a note and a mortgage in Kansas, or if you're doing a promissory note and a deed of trust in Missouri, that, okay, if you're doing a wrap, that's gonna be in second lien position, and there's usually an installment agreement. Most of ours have been 30-year fixed rate type of agreements, okay? So each month on that installment agreement, part of the payment goes towards paying down the principal, part of that payment goes towards paying down the interest, all right? Our hope is that there's no balloon. In fact, if you're doing, you know, financing for owner occupants, balloons violate Dodd-Frank. Those are legal, you're not supposed to do those, okay? So, however, for the investors, all right, if you're offering or purchasing seller finance, just be mindful. You know, you want to do your best to avoid balloons, all right? A lot of times balloons get in the way, they can mess up the investment and so forth. I'm dealing with some second lien position debt right now that has balloons on it. They're coming due within the next year or two. My business partner and I have to figure out how to pay that off. We got good first lien position debt that's an installment agreement with the underlying mortgage, the first lien position debt. We did a contract for deed, okay? That's an installment agreement. Most of those are 30 years, but we needed to source some additional capital, so we have some second lien position debt that we have to deal with. This is the reality of real estate investing, okay? So again, I'm gonna, you know, keep it real with y'all, talk about some of the good, the bad, and the ugly, because there's not enough of that being talked about, all right? So investors who are looking at seller financing, all right, they know they wanna go long-term, they know they wanna generate revenue and cash flow each month. Now, in today's market, not only do they have to figure out how to source the capital on the front end to be able to acquire the properties. Most investors are looking at doing renovation projects, so they have to get through the renovation project. Okay, so are you using short-term debt, a hard money loan, and you're bringing in some of your money or some, you know, a private individual's money to fill the gaps for the gap funds? I did another video a couple weeks back in regards to gap funds and private money. So all of this, again, ties in together. So figuring out the acquisition process, getting through the renovation, if you're taking on renovation projects, paying off the short-term debt, whether it's hard money loans, private money loans, your own money, or all of that in there together, which I think a lot of investors are experiencing that right now, getting that sorted out, you know, and paid off or refinanced prior to doing your seller finance transaction is huge, okay? So again, that's why I'm looking at, I've been doing more posts lately, all right, especially on LinkedIn. If you're not on LinkedIn and you are a business owner or in sales, shame on you. Get a LinkedIn account and connect with me. I drop so much game on there every single week. And lately, I've been posting more about the way that investors can acquire and utilize seller financing as part of their investment model. So much more lately, okay? Single family homes, regular neighborhoods, regular people, okay? All day long, and going in and buying properties that are ready to go. That is a huge move right now. And I gotta give props to John Burley, okay? It's part of the Burley method, all right, is utilizing seller financing on the back end as a way to produce cash flow. But not only that, there's a certain way to acquire properties that a lot of investors are neglecting, and for that could be for various reasons. So once you have the property acquired, it's a single family home. We are now pushing, I am pushing harder now than ever before for my clients and my partners and my colleagues who are willing to listen, to look at single family homes that are ready to go. If you can buy it and take over the existing financing, or you can get the seller to do some type of creative financing, okay, great, do it. More often than not, if you're trying to do volume, you're gonna need to use some type of financing to acquire that property. That's where the non-QM loans come into play. I did a video on that a few weeks back, okay? So if you're acquiring the property, it's a single family home, it's ready to go. You're using the non-QM 30-year fixed rate mortgage, the house is ready to go when you buy it. The thing that and a lot of investors may struggle with is figuring out how to come up with that 20 to 30% for those gap funds to cover the down payment and your placement fee and the reserves, the closing costs, and so forth, to be able to get into that type of investment property. Then from there, you can avoid the short-term debt. You can avoid the hard money loans. You can minimize the amount of work that you have to do as far as a renovation project. And on top of that, you can avoid having to go through all of that, then scrambling around just to refinance the property, okay, to pay off the short-term debt and to try to recoup most of your money, because in a lot of cases now, today, it's gonna be a lot harder to renovate and refi and cash out, okay? The BRRRR strategy, is it dead? Maybe not. Is it really hard to do in today's market? Absolutely. So if the opportunity makes sense and you have the means and the deep enough pockets and the operations and the know-how to be able to do that, and you think it's worthwhile, then sure, give it a shot. But the reality of fix and flip, the reality of buying and renovating properties to refi them, especially over the last couple years, is you're gonna end up all in at 85 to 95% of the after repair value, if not more. And then when you refi, you may end up having to bring money to the table just to get the refinance done. So I hope this clicks for y'all. What I'm trying to say is that in a lot of cases, you may end up in the same position that you would have been in. If you buy the house, renovate, refi, that's gonna take 3 to 6 months, maybe a year longer than just to refi and end up in the same position financially or worse that you would have been in if you would have just bought the house that was ready to go and put the 15, 20, 30% down, however creative way you think you can get that done repeatedly and sustainably. By all means, then get to the cash flow from there. Then do your contract for deed or your true seller carryback or your lease option to then get to the cash flow that most of us want. And that's why a lot of us got into real estate investing. And that's why a lot of us are doing whatever we're doing to try to eventually do buy and hold. Well, let's look at how we could just raise the money and do buy and hold today. That's where I'm at right now. That's what I'm pushing hard more for, is investors, my clients, my partners, is just getting to it in a manner that is going to be more safe, secure, more sustainable, more reliable. You could do that over and over again. Okay. And again, a lot of people, you may not quite understand it. Talk to some rehabbers, talk to some property managers, invite them to coffee, invite them to lunch, to go to the meetups. That's why I go to the meetups, because I can get insight every now and then. And this has been an accumulation of me going to local meetups for a decade. I may catch a gym every now and then where me and an investor connect. We have a conversation. They share what they're experiencing. I share what I'm experiencing, and we can collaborate and figure out how to make that whole process more efficient. Okay, I've been doing that for over basically a decade now, and I've gone through a lot of different experiences. And I truly believe that, you know, kudos to my father, kudos to John Burley, kudos to Richard Powelton and a slew of other people, my clients, those people that gave me a shot. Kudos to all of you. All of that has helped me to see that in times like these, over halfway through 2024, will it get better? Will interest rates go down? Will we get more inventory? I don't know, but I'm acting as if we are not, because chances are not all of those combined are going to happen together. When interest rates do go down again, what's going to happen then? We're still short on houses. So I believe that these houses in and around Kansas City aren't getting any cheaper. So that's why I'm pushing a little bit harder now for investors to look at, okay, acquiring properties and then using seller financing as a way to produce cash flow. The installment agreements, we're looking at lease options a lot more now, okay, because of the 3 scary Ds that I mentioned in the video that I did weeks ago, okay? Now that more investors are stepping in and attempting to do creative financing, most of them don't know what they're doing and they're screwing it up. That's why more regulators are stepping in, okay? And I think a big part of that is just a lack of experience, a lack of understanding in general when it comes to the realities of real estate investing. The short-term debt combined with the renovation projects, combined with the long-term debt, and then the asset management from there. Most investors that are looking for deals haven't had that experience, okay? So of course, if they come across an opportunity where they can do something creative, they may give it a shot, but odds are they're probably gonna do it wrong, okay? So tap in with us, all right? My mentors have been doing this stuff for 30, 40 plus years. I've been at it for over a decade now doing creative finance transactions, and I've made it part of my mission to help more investors and more of my clients through this process, okay? So tap in with me. It's Upside Property Services. All right. Again, get on LinkedIn. If you're a real estate investor or real estate professional, get on LinkedIn. Okay. My handle there is LW Realty 3. Okay. And connect with me as I continue to drop more game. I'm literally giving game on a silver platter. Okay. As I do these videos and upload them to YouTube. And I'm more active on Facebook and Instagram than ever before, trying to get people ahead of the curve and up to speed with the reality of real estate investing, because I don't think it's going to get any easier. At some point in the future, all right, we're bound to have some type of dip or correction or crash, but it's only going to be a certain window. It's usually a small window of opportunity where investors or people can capitalize on those discounted types of deals. Well, the rest of the time, you got to figure out how to sell and operate and manage your investments and your assets, okay? Because most of the time, there's not going to be those small windows. You got to figure out how to work it when money is more expensive and labor and material is more expensive, and like where we are now, where supply is low. If you can figure out how to make it work in times like these, well, you're gonna, instead of waiting around, you're gonna be better prepared. So when that window does open, you're gonna be that much more ready to jump on it and capitalize on those cheap opportunities. Okay, so this video was supposed to be about seller financing and installment agreements. and lease options, but I needed to talk about the other aspects of real estate investing because there's a lot that goes into this thing. And at the end of the day, all right, if you got access to capital, you have the ability to borrow, whether it's your money, your partner's money, friends, your family, sphere of influence, okay? Getting that sorted out first and combining that with a good sound investment model, a good business plan, a good investment strategy, putting that together, okay, you're gonna have deals coming your way left and right. Then from there, if you don't already have the experience as an operator, as a property manager, project manager, managing residents, managing cash flow, managing the business, okay, you're gonna have to learn that, or you could partner up with somebody like me, okay? Every city, every state, every big market has somebody like me, and this is something else that I'm starting to push a lot more now for my people, for my colleagues, for my customers, my clients, and people that are out there listening. If you have money or if you have experience, you can work together. Whoever that is, you either got time, okay, and maybe you can gain some experience, okay, or in a lot of cases, people got money but they don't have much time, okay. Figuring out how to marry those two is it. That's it. That's the sauce right there. So if you want to learn more, okay, about how we are making that happen today in and around Kansas City and how you could do that in your market, then reach out to me, subscribe to the YouTube channel. My YouTube handle is the same as my Instagram handle. It's Luther3RE. And again, get on LinkedIn, connect with me there. It's Luther Wilson III, Upside Property Services signing off. Peace, y'all.